Are you a nerd? Are you a person? Then check out Voluntary Input, where we not only have open discussions about tech, TV, movies, and gaming, but also open discussions about people, and sometimes with the people behind the tech. Catch new episodes with me, Leo Allen, bi-weekly on Tuesdays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Good Pods, and pretty much everywhere else you listen to podcasts. And be sure to check out videos of every episode on YouTube and Twitch. Simply go to voluntaryinput.com to find all the ways you can listen to us, contact us, and better yet, select register as a guest to be a guest on the show, because we are always looking for great guests like you.
Never forced, never coerced. Welcome to Voluntary Input.
This podcast contains strong language and adult situations and may not be suitable for those who are easily offended.
Welcome to Fuck My Work Life's Afternoon Break, a quick getaway from your daily grind. Step away from whatever you're doing, grab your favorite beverage, put your feet up, and enjoy. Welcome back, fuckers. I'm Kay.
I'm Jay.
And this is another episode of our afternoon break. And today our special guest is Josh Scar from the TalkingSMAC podcast. Hi, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Hi, Jay and Kay.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I've already had one glass of my drink of the day, and I don't drink very often because I have 3 kids under the age of 10, so I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Awesome.
That's good. You got them right where we want.
Yeah. Now we got to start asking all the tough questions. We're going to turn this into an interview podcast.
All right.
Get all the dirt.
Yeah, so I don't drink beer, so it's a mixed drink. So if you hear the ice clinking, I'm very sorry. I'm trying to keep it away from the mic.
That's okay.
It's all right.
That's what editing's for.
Oh, I wish I would have heard the same thing when I make noises with my drinks.
Well, the difference is we're on the same audio track, so I can't mute you if I'm talking.
Oh, well, fine then.
Technicalities.
I guess.
I know. So technical.
Valid excuse, I guess.
I guess. Well, why don't you tell the listeners about your podcast?
So I run the TalkingSMAC podcast. It's the one with the red and yellow icon. There's other TalkingSMACs out there that talk sports. That's not us, although I do enjoy sports, as I am drinking out of a Green Bay Packer glass.
Okay.
But we talk superheroes, movies, animation, and comics, otherwise SMAC. It's just an excuse for me and my friends to get together and talk about the nerd stuff we would normally talk about. And with us getting older and having families and other things going on in life, it's just a nice way to schedule time together to just nerd out. We have a rotating cast. It's, excuse me, it's me, Lewis, Becky, Matt, sometimes Matt too, also known as John, Beppo, and Alex, and and Scotty. Scotty's a little more rare, but he's omnipresent in the podcast because he's such a funny person. But yeah, it's just a big nerd podcast. We talk movies mostly, but comics sneak in there because we talk a lot about superhero movies, among other things.
Yeah, it's a fun podcast. I listen every week when it comes out. Like, I'm not a huge comic book person at all, but I like listening to other people talk about it. I've never read a comic book.
Neither have I.
No?
No.
Huh. Wow.
No, that was
those
cost too much money for my redneck upbringing.
I got Antonio hooked on Velvet. I can probably figure something out for the two of you. There's a really good comic out there about football in the South called Southern Bastards.
Ooh, see?
You son of a bitch.
There you go.
I believe that one's written by Jason Aaron, who also is the guy who wrote the Mighty Thor storyline that's the new Thor movie is being based off of.
Oh, okay.
That's cool. I did read, I didn't finish it. I started reading a graphic novel about, not Ted Bundy, who's the other one? Jeffrey Dahmer. So that was kind of like a comic book, I guess. Just kind of a weird comic book topic, but
Yeah, graphic novel is just a big comic book that's just one big collection. My buddies at the For Real podcast actually just did a big 3-part series on a documentary about Jeffrey Dahmer. Dahmer.
yeah,
He's the one from Chicago, right?
I think.
No, that's Gacy. Nope,
Yeah,
Gacy.
John Wayne
Oh.
Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy.
Where's Dahmer?
So never
from?
mind.
Dahmer is from like Minnesota or something.
Okay.
Milwaukee.
The
I
Midwest
think.
has some
Creepy
weird
dude.
people.
Don't ask me how I know this.
The
weird
Midwest
shit.
and the Pacific Northwest are kind of like hotbeds for serial killers. Yeah. So on that note, speaking of serial killers or murderers, you actually sent us a really good story about being a murder suspect briefly.
Oh yeah.
when
Oh
you
yeah,
were
I
a
did send that in,
teenager.
didn't I?
That was a good story.
I shared that story on the live stream for The Cure as well. You guys go back and listen to it. I'll get you some more listens if you want to hear that one. Yeah, I was a murder suspect for about 48 hours when I was 16 years old and working at a hotel.
Yeah. Go.
Jesus.
And it wasn't
go
like
listen to
it wasn't like a
that.
sketchy hotel either.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like the dude was dead the last time you brought the stuff up, right? Like he had
Potentially,
to be.
yeah.
That's so creepy.
Just laying on the bed and woman answers the door. And I still have this vivid image in my head of this petite, like pixie cut blonde woman in a long white t-shirt answering the door. And like, that's what I told the cops. And yeah, it was just a crazy way to pick up my paycheck that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet.
I just want
Look, man, I just want my money. Okay.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, go listen to that episode. I think it was called Murder Suspects and Swindlers or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Go check that story out. It's kind of creepy and cool. But you're here today because you've got some more work stories for us, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about sharing a Black Friday story from my time at GameStop, but as I kept thinking about it, I thought maybe there could be an interesting conversation to be had with this other story that I have about a poor performance meeting that I was required to be on because I performed poorly at my job at the bank.
Oh, no.
So this was like just before the Wells Fargo stuff came out where they were having fraudulent accounts to boost numbers and increase their stock and whatever. And I wasn't working at Wells Fargo, but there is one in my area. And my bank was really pushing for credit cards and all these other things because, banks want to make a profit and credit cards are the easiest way to do that. I didn't like pushing that because we don't live in a very high income area, or at least our clients were not. So I never really pushed it. And that led to poor performance numbers. I wasn't getting referral credits and I wasn't getting applications for credit cards and stuff. Because again, I was like, these people already only make like $400 a week or a paycheck. I'm not asking them to go into debt or even further into debt than what they have. Yeah. So I just morally, I couldn't do it. And so I ended up on this call that for bad performers, because we're going to increase morale and explain to you why we're pushing these products on our customers because they're going to be better for it. And the regional manager we had, I nicknamed him Shaggy. Just the way he talked, he had that exuberance of Shaggy. Mm-hmm. Like zoinks, like, hey guys, let's go sell some credit cards. Mm-hmm. And I could not get past that part of him as well. So when he's telling this story in one of our meetings, I just am like, you're the worst, Shaggy. And it basically, he's giving us this rah-rah speech, and he starts talking about you're at a theme. Imagine you're at a theme park and you're waiting in line, and the line is so long, but you're so excited to get to the theme park, and you've timed out how long the ride is that you're waiting to ride, and it's a 5-minute ride, and it finally gets to your turn after so long of waiting, and when it's your turn, it's a 90-second ride. How disappointed are you going to be with that? And I'm like, what the fuck kind of allegory is that for a bank?
Yeah. What does that have to do with
depositing
and withdrawing shit from the bank?
Exactly. And it just kept running through my brain that I cannot and I should not speak up if I want to keep my job, because his allegory is just so bad. And like, if you're at a bank, you want in, you want out. You want your money or you want a deposit, you want no complications. If you want to chit chat, you're probably single and chatting up the teller, or you're old and you have no one else to talk to. Those are the only reasons to be at the bank line for more than 5 minutes or more than like 90 seconds. And I can't even imagine how frustrating it would be, again, putting a real world application on this of you're in line, you're like 3 people deep, and you're waiting 15 minutes for 3 people to get through because the teller has been told we need to chit chat with these members and get them all riled up for getting a credit card or adding a new savings account to our library of accounts for them.
You'd have a whole line of pissed off people for sure.
Yeah. I could not imagine being in line. If you're that third person, you're waiting 20 minutes to get to deposit your check or take out money. Yeah. And if you're in the drive-through, like what the heck's the point of the drive-through if we're supposed to be taking 5 minutes with people?
Well, what's the point of the ATM? Like they invented the ATM to not have people wait in line to, just deposit or withdraw and go.
Yeah.
Oh, the ATM is for the people that don't want the personal experience. I've heard this before in these stupid calls. If you're going to the ATM, you don't want the personal experience. But if you're going in line, you want that personal experience. Oh, and that's why you need to take the time to make each customer feel special and make sure that they're getting our products, the right products for them that our system has determined through an algorithm.
Oh, God.
The right products for them is the cash in the drawer.
Yeah.
Thank you. At least there are some sane people outside of the workplace.
So did you get, like, if a customer would come up and you type in their account number, would you get pop-ups like suggest this thing for them or suggest this? They're pre-approved for this. Suggest this.
Towards the end of my time, yes, they did actually start implementing those kind of pop-ups and prompts like, oh, this person averages $2,000 a month in their account without going below. So maybe we should recommend a high yield savings account, which I don't know if you're familiar with savings accounts. High yield means jack shit right now because everything's under 1%.
Yeah. I hate that shit. Like my bank does that to me. I have a car loan through my bank and I still get shit from them. Do you want to open up or do you want a car loan through us? I'm like, I have that. Does that not tell you that? Like when my account doesn't say my car loan is already through you, do you want to give me a cheaper interest rate? Then yes, please, let's talk.
Yeah, this is why I have like 8,000 unread emails. It's all bullshit. Just trying to dig a deeper hole for myself.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't go to the bank to socialize. So I can't. I just be like, I appreciate a friendly teller, but I don't want to talk for 5 minutes about shit.
I mean, honestly, the only time we really go into the bank is when if we need rolls of quarters because the ATM won't give that to us.
I can't tell you how pissed off people were when we got rid of our coin machine. Like we had to literally, we had trays that would separate out dollars for us with each section. So like we would literally just have to take like little stacks of coins and you've got $6 in quarters and $10 in dimes. And like once the coin machine was gone, like everyone just got so upset that it was so time consuming. And we had to roll the coins ourselves. So we had to like get the sleeves and pop them in there. Wow. It was the worst. And like, I have a weird, like, what is it? Bronze bronze, brass. I don't know. What are pennies made out of? Brass? Copper. That's right. I have like a weird thing with copper where it like tingles my fingers and it like makes my arm just kind of like clench. So weird. So like I don't know what it is, but that's one of the reasons why I don't like coins because most of the coins are like 50% copper.
Yeah.
And so like my hands would always just feel so gross and like my arm would be clenched for a good like 2 minutes after dealing with a lot of pennies.
That's so strange. Like I've heard of like metal allergies, but I haven't heard of like a clenching. That's crazy.
I was just going to say, I remember using the coin sleeves when I was like 8 or 9. And that was
getting your piggy bank out and like rolling up
like 36 years ago.
I was going to say, if we got the time, I can still share my Black Friday story too.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
We still have time.
Okay. So Black Friday, I'm working in this very tiny GameStop and it's probably, the dimensions are probably about 50 feet long and maybe 20 feet wide, maybe closer to 15 feet wide. So it's really skinny and long. Mm-hmm. And it's Black Friday. So we're breaking fire codes, getting people into the store. And one of the things we do to try and make sure that everyone is not going insane is we rotate stations. So we have like 2 registers, people walking along the floor, making sure people are at like the Xbox section that want Xbox games. And then we have like one person handing out our Black Friday flyers at the door. It's my turn to start handing out the Black Friday flyers. And this woman comes in that we had nicknamed the bus lady. She's called the bus lady because she uses the bus as her excuse for needing quick customer service. If there's a line of people, she's like, I'm going to miss my bus if you don't help me right now. Like, I have 3 people ahead of you. Let me help them and then I'll help you. But my bus. Oh my gosh, my bus. So she would just like nag us to the point where we just had to help her before we helped anyone else.
Ugh.
So bus lady comes in with her family on Black Friday this day, reeking of cigarettes, among other things. So now we're dealing with a packed store that's overheated with people, and it smells like cigarettes because they just decided to drag out before coming into the store. And they get through the store, find all their stuff, and they start checking out. And this is at the time we were starting to phase out checks. So we were still taking them, but it was a process because our system no longer accepted them the way it used to. We had to like hand write out details on the check. Like we needed a driver's license number, and we needed to put out all the information from the driver's license on it. So bus lady's mom wants to pay with a check. She can't find her driver's license.
Oh, geez.
And this is all happening with Lewis, who is a store manager. And I'm just like watching the front door, handing out flyers, doing whatever. And then the next thing I hear is bus lady's mom going, "Oh, Jesus," going down to the floor.
Oh, no.
She's like hunched over, grabbing the floor, going down. And I had like just lost my license for CPR, but like I knew how to perform CPR. I just didn't get recertified. And so I'm like, am I going to have to give this woman who just got done smoking cigarettes like 15 minutes ago CPR? And no, she was just squatting down in the middle of the floor so she can find her license from her purse.
Jeez.
Nice.
Just causing a scene. I mean, I get it. Sometimes when I have to like stand back up from sitting down, it can be a lot of work.
Well, she's going down. It wasn't even the coming back up part. I just see this like 60, 70-year-old woman, "Oh, Jesus," going down. And I'm like, is she having a heart attack? What's going on? She's clearly been smoking a long time in her life. Like, who knows what the stress of Black Friday is doing to her.
Oh.
So like I found out I found out after the fact that she was just going down to sit in the middle of the floor to throw a fit and dig for her driver's license. But again, like all that was unbeknownst to me at the time.
Yeah.
Is just I just had like little snippets of the conversation in like the corner of my ear hearing. But yeah, that was one Black Friday that will stick with me for forever because it was just such a ridiculous moment.
It would have been awesome if you rushed over there and like, "No, lay down," and start giving her CPR. And she's like, "I'm just trying to get my license."
I was getting ready to like hop up on the counter and like bleep off like Spider-Man or something because like I needed to clear over to get to her if I needed to. But thankfully she didn't need any assistance. It was just, again, instead of moving 3 feet to her left to dig through her purse, she decided she was just going to sit down in the middle of the store on Black Friday and cause a scene.
Jeez. Did they use the bus excuse that day?
No, actually. I think her mom was driving her around or I don't know. But it was bus lady, her mom, and her sister. And yeah, I guess they were just doing some Black Friday shopping and mom decided to buy them some extra gifts that day, even though they're all in their post 50s, we'll say.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how else to nicely put it.
Do you guys have Super Mario?
Honestly, your voice is not too far off from how she sounded.
It reminds me of the Barge's sisters from The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
Patty and Thelma?
Is it Thelma?
Thelma?
Zelma? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That raspy cigarette.
But yeah,
voice.
my buddy Scotty, who again sometimes is the podcast with me, he worked at the store too. And he always talked like he always did an impression of her as the Jack Officer from South Park. Like she would walk in every time. She would really only ever deal with Lewis, so she'd just be like, "Hello, Lewis." And Scotty would she would leave. Scotty would be, "Hello, Lewis." Oh.
Customer service jobs are the best, aren't they?
At least they make good stories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I don't have to work with the public anymore.
Indeed. I am 6 days away from being done with customer service.
Oh, congratulations.
That's good.
It's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let everyone know where they can find your podcast.
They can find my podcast on Twitter at TalkingSMAC Pod. We also have a Twitch channel now, which I believe is also under TalkingSMAC Pod. Again, just look for the red and yellow banner. Although on Twitter right now, we do have the rainbow banner for Pride Month. But yeah, usually it's red and yellow. So superheroes, movies, animation, comics. You can find my personal account at Josh_Scar. Scar spelled SKAAR.
We will link those in the show notes as well, so you can easily find Josh on Talking Smack. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks again for having me.
Yeah, everyone go check out Talking Smack. Bye, fuckers.
Bye, fuckers. Thank you for joining our afternoon break. If you have a workplace story, email it to fmwlpod@gmail.com or call our rant line at 310-818-3273.
Please follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss out on new episodes. And if you're enjoying the show, take a moment to rate and review.
You can find us on all the socials at FMWLPod. Come say hello and check out all our amazing indie podcast friends. Until next time, bye, fuckers.
I don't know about you, but with a busy work schedule, I never have time to sit down and read. Luckily, there's Newsly. Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up articles about the most trending topics on the web and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time ever, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. You can browse articles from topics you choose and just start playing. Follow specific topics from sports, tech, business, science, or Bitcoin. Newsly will find you the latest articles and read them aloud. They even have digital radio. And do you want to know the best part? They have podcasts. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries. And you can find our podcast, Fuck My Work Life, there too. Download and try Newsly for free by visiting www.newsly.me or clicking on the link in our show notes. And be sure to use promo code FWL for a 1-month free premium subscription. Stop scrolling and start listening with Newsly.